Welcome to Purpose Living Podcast. Today we have a new episode and we'll be talking about physical health, the benefits of exercising, kind of focusing more on exercising and all the benefits of it that comes with just trying to stay physically fit and physically healthy. So got 4 questions that we'll kind of dabble and dibble into and try to give some practical examples that will hopefully help you find some consistency in being healthy physically.
Yep. So I think with exercise, people either fall in one or two camps. One being they really enjoy exercise. It's something that they, make a very strong high priority, or like want to avoid it and just do not enjoy it at all. And so our goal is really to find that happy balance where, we really try to take care of the bodies that we have been given, and actually being physically moving and being active. It just has so many benefits beyond just trying to look a certain way or lose weight or those type of things, but what's really happening in our insides and the benefits that come with that. And so it's important that if you do fall into that camp of you want to avoid it at all costs, don't feel like it has to look like somebody else. Find what's going to work well for you and understand, what's going to be your best when you're looking at incorporating physical activity into your lifestyle. So.
Yep. And I think one of the number one things that for me personally, it's like seeking validation from other people. Of how you look, and people may comment, "Oh, you look this way," and then you can put yourself in the rabbit hole of, "I got to keep this going. I got to keep this going," and it can become a problem for you if you're not careful. So, just like you said, I think for most of us is finding a really good medium that we can find a place that we are consistent. Also a place that you're doing something that is improving your lifestyle, but at the same time, it's something that you enjoy. Mm-hmm. If not, your motivation can go downhill real fast.
Yeah. And I will share too, because I've been at both extremes of it too. And so to what you said, just to have really that healthy balance. Because when I had exercise bulimia, I felt I had to work out 3 hours a day. It was all about body image. That was a very actually unhealthy place to be. So the benefits that we're talking about don't actually come from that, because I was actually straining my body in not a good way. And so what we want to talk about is really being able to lean into, making yourself stronger and healthier from the inside out, because it's good for your body and finding that balance in it. So we'll dive into the 4 questions. And the first one is,
what is your current reality? Mm-hmm. And with this one, you got to be honest with yourself, right? You don't want a superficial answer. What I mean by that is if somebody asks you, "Hey, how are you doing?" "I'm doing good." That's a superficial answer. Deep down inside, you got to ask yourself, what is my current reality right now? What does my health look like physically? And what are certain things, what are some goals that I want to achieve, right? In order for you to start to set those goals, you got to be able to be honest with yourself, with your current reality. So,
yep. Yeah, definitely looking at, okay, what is my energy like? What is my flexibility? How well do I run up and down the stairs? Can I get up off the floor easily? Can I tie my shoes? Simple things like that. Maybe you're training for, a triathlon or something, then that looks a little different. So what is your current reality there? Really leaning in, how is my heart health? How is my bone density? There's a lot more that goes to it. And so really leaning into what is my current reality right now? Do I have high blood pressure or, close to a diabetic range? Okay, well then taking care of your physical body is going to make a huge, huge difference. And so being aware of your numbers, being aware of just your energy and quality of life, understanding where you're at at right now, because what you choose to do is going to be based off of that too. So you want to listen to your body and not try, like I know when after I had all my children, I thought I could do the things that I could do. I absolutely cannot. And so it's rebuilding ourselves back up. So being honest with, oh, like, it looks different from when you're, in your 20s and then as you age. So what is your current reality right now? What does that look like for you? So that is the first question to really just think about. And if you don't know your numbers and you don't know and haven't thought about like what your energy levels are or how easily you can do functional activities, like start to just think about those kind of things, because that can motivate us to, okay, I'm willing to take a step. So knowing our current reality right now. And then question number 2 is,
well, I mean, with let me tap on the first question.
Yep,
For the first question here. Also, like, be mindful and give yourself grace. Don't try to just like she just ramble a whole lot of list and everybody's like trying to write down whatever. Just give yourself some grace and pick one area physically that you need to improve on. Usually, it kind of trickles down as you go in the all the areas that you need to like get better at. So, for example, if I'm trying to get my blood pressure down, and or if getting to that diabetes part of it, maybe cutting sugar, right, and then going out and just walking, just start walking. You don't have to run. You don't have to do like high, heavy exercises. But all that to say is just start small, right? Start small so that you don't get burnt out too fast because you're trying to achieve too many things at once. I think when you start with just one area of your life, if you're just trying to get going and start running, start with walking, right? Because it's the same thing with me. Like, I was sick for like a couple of days, and I got up. I was like, it's time to get back into running again. And I started running, and I'm like, wait a minute, what is happening right now? I'm breathing heavy, and I was like, all right, I need to dial it back down a little bit. So it just starts small. Dial it down a little bit. Start small, so that you're trying to. The goal is to keep your momentum moving, not to break the momentum, right? So when you start small and then you increase gradually, then you keep yourself moving forward
yeah.
towards that. So.
Yep, absolutely. And if you don't know and that all is kind of overwhelming to you, like that's where you can connect with us and we would be happy to kind of give you some tips or pointers. So feel free to, email us or contact us in any way. Number 2 is knowing what you want to accomplish and what the benefits are for that. So really leaning into what do you want to accomplish? Is it functional things where, you want to be able to tie your shoes easier, go up and down the steps easier? Do you want to train for a 5K or, do a triathlon? Like really leaning into what are your specific goals and make sure they're yours too. Like don't try to, like kind of what he was saying, like don't try to what you see what somebody else is doing and think that should be your goal. Like really look inside. Like what is my goal? My goal might be to lower my blood pressure. Okay, well then can I do, 10 to 15 minutes of cardiovascular activity, 2 times a day? What can I do to start to improve that heart health? Or what maybe your goal is to try, to strength train. You want more bone density and stronger muscles. Okay, so let's look at that. So really looking into what's based off of your current reality, what goals do you want to accomplish?
Yeah, and along those lines too, like break it down into small phases. Just the same thing, the same way that you do goals, right? You want them to be measurable. You want to be able to time. There has to be a time. It's the same thing. Like break them into small phases so that you can achieve them and keep the momentum moving. So for me, what do I want to accomplish physically? For me, it's just kind of getting my body back into. I can walk up the stairs and not be like breathing hard, right? Because I live in a house that has stairs. Being able to go out and play with my kids, that is something that is important to me. For simple as this, I want to be able to go out and take a walk. And there's a lot of people that we have worked with or have come to some of our retreats that we've had, and they started it with small wins. And then, like, every single time they do something, hey, listen, I walked like 2 miles today. I walked 3 miles today. I'm getting to be 5 miles. That is awesome. And that's what you want to see happening, right? You want to be able to do those things that you want to do. For some of us, it might be running a 5K for a certain time that you want to try to hit. For some of us, it might just be just finishing the 5K, right? But starting somewhere and making it so that you're not trying to do it all at once, but it's a small it's a small process that you're trying to take in order for you to find the progress that you're trying to find, so that you can be able to find the success that you're looking for in those areas.
Yeah.
So when it comes to trying to figure out what you're trying to accomplish, it also, I think, knowing the benefits of why
Yeah.
will help you in those areas.
Yeah, and I definitely want to talk about that because sometimes we think of what I want to accomplish solely as like milestone, like I ran the 5K or I did this or that. But I want you to kind of even think of the benefits that you're getting. So I want to improve my blood pressure. I want to reduce stress. I want to be able to sleep better. I want to improve my mood. I want to enhance my flexibility. Like looking at things more that aren't just like like, oh, I completed this 5K or I did that, but like what's actually happening in our inside. And we can measure those things. So like our blood pressure maybe started at 135 over 90 and I want to get it to 120 over 80. Okay, so let's measure that and let's take these steps and see how we're improving those numbers. Maybe you don't sleep well and getting some good solid exercise in earlier in the day will help you to be able to rest your body, because there's so much recovery that happens in good quality sleep. Just an overall sense of well-being. Like sometimes when you're doing physical activity, you can meet with a friend and go for a walk, and that can just improve your mood because you get to go talk and hang out with somebody, or I used to teach Zumba and do a dancing classes and doing whatever you find enjoyable. But there's so often like you're like, oh, I don't want to go work out, but you never regret it. When you're done, you never were like, oh, I wish I wouldn't have worked out. That was not fun. Like you might not, like you always feel better. Just your mood, your energy, so much just feels better from getting that activity in. And when you're thinking about this, don't try to like, okay, I have to get an hour in every day. Start small. It can be, 30 minutes, but it could even be 20 minutes. And that 20 minutes could even be broken up 2 times, like 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes in the evening. You do like want it to be at least 10 minutes when you're thinking cardiovascular health, just because that's what's going to actually train your heart to, be able to function higher. But you can break it out into 10-minute segments and space it in however you can, just to try to think about, okay, I'm actually improving my inside. I'm not just trying to lose weight or whatever. That's a good side benefit, but I'm actually improving my inside and I'm improving my quality of life.
Yeah, and then that's a great point. I think a lot of us focus so much so on the outside and not so much so about the inside. And a lot of times when you're training yourself, you're getting your heart and the rest of your muscles inside stronger. And for some of us, it might not show outside. For some of us, it might show outside. I'm just a natural built person that when I start working out, I tend to show muscle build better than most people that might work out a certain way and they would never show it. And don't fall into the trap of that. Just tell yourself deep down inside, I'm building myself inside and then out, so that you don't get in the trap of, okay, I'm doing this thing, and just because it's not showing outside doesn't mean that you're not getting yourself healthy inside, which is way more important than the outside part of it. So just being cautious of that and knowing that just you as much as you're working out and you're doing things, just because it's not showing outside doesn't mean that you're not getting yourself healthy inside. And that's just as important.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will share, like, because I used to, in my past, like I grew up as a heavy kid, so I went to school for dietetics, personal training, all of that, because I didn't want to stay stuck, but it was all for physical appearance. That was my total. Every time I worked out, it was to burn calories, to look a certain way. Like that was my full mindset. And for the past, 7 years, 8 years, that I've been free of that, where that's not even a thing for me. It's like I actually want to be physically fit because I want to take care of my body and it gives me energy and I feel good. And it's so much easier for me to maintain my weight now than it was when it was body image. Like it's amazing the difference and just the stress that is released when it's not like, oh, I got to work out all of this. Like when I was working out 3 hours a day, it was way harder to maintain my weight because I was just putting all the stress on my body and all the cortisone levels were driving up and it was not actually benefiting me. But when I actually slowed down and worked out for like physical health, then it actually gives you those healthy endorphins and things that your body can function higher. So more is not better. And so making sure that you have a healthy relationship with exercise, a healthy relationship with food. And again, if this is an area of weakness, like let me know. And I would love to talk with you about that because it's a huge passion of mine because it was my biggest battle. And so I love to see people break free from that for sure.
All right, let's hop into 3. What you got?
Number 3 is how can I fit it in? This is the number one roadblock that I see with people that I work with or people that I talk to is, okay, I want to do this, but I'm so busy. I don't have time. So we really need to look into how can I, not why can't you? So there's always going to be life and obstacles. And so really looking at where can I fit this in at? Are you a morning person? Are you going to do it before you go to work? Are you an evening person? Can you take a lunch break? Like what is your options of when you're going to fit it in? Like what days of the week, what times, and actually putting it into your calendar. Because if it's not an appointment to yourself, then the likelihood of it happening is very little. So I know for me, if I don't do it in the morning, the chances of me doing it later are very small. So I know that I have to make it a priority to put it in the morning. I was talking to a client and he was like, okay, they have young kids and just figuring out and navigating it. So him and his wife got on the same page and said, okay, this is going to be your time. This is going to be her time. And they both committed to when was going to work best as a family, knowing that there was going to be some give and take. So if you do have family, like just say, this is important to me. This is something that like I really want to take care of my body inside. Like, can I have this 45-minute chunk of time to go work out and like kind of fitting that into figuring out what is going to be best for you and how you can fit it in.
Yeah, and here's an encouragement for people who have a lot of kids, and I know that kind of comes up a lot of times, but be that example to your kids. Like, make the workout part of it. Make it, if you can, if you don't have to go to a gym or anything, if you're doing it at your house, get the kids involved in it, right? Just get the kids involved in it and have them join you. And when they see that that's important to you, like they mimic that down the road. So you're teaching them something down the road. But yeah, it's important that you have it in a place that you are able to do it. Kind of becomes a routine to you. So for me, like I can make adjustments. In the morning, we're not your normal family people. I can do it in the middle of the day, or we can do it in the evening. I personally, there's certain times that I just feel like I can do it at 9:30 at night, and I can do it at 9:30. She's sleeping, I can get my workout in. Kids are sleeping, I can get my workout in. So it's just figuring out what works best for you and what fits your family. And sometimes just make it a family affair. Just bring everybody in. Hey, you want to work out today? Like today, we're all out on the street running sprints on the street because everybody wanted to run sprints, I guess. So don't make it be like unless let's put it this way, unless that's like your personal time, like that's your you time, and you need that to be just you, then that's a different story. But if that is something that you can include everybody else in your family, why not?
Yep. Yeah, and I will say, like, I used to want it to
Mm-hmm.
be me time where it was like, okay, like I didn't want the distraction. I just like, because it was like chaotic to me when mom. Um, the more kids I have, now it's just kind of like, you know what? If I'm stopping and going and getting them breakfast and coming back, like I just let it go. Like it's just not a big deal. Like as long as I'm, getting it in, is it going to look as perfect as I thought it needed to look in my past? No, but it's totally okay. And like that causes no stress anymore where it used to be very stressful. So really learning like that balance of what's going to work well for you, but not saying why you can't, because there's always going to be a list of reasons why you can't, but how can I?
Yeah.
And what do I want to look like? And make sure you start super small. Like you might want to work yourself up to 5 days a week, but start with 2, and like get that consistent, which leads us into question number 4 is what will I actually enjoy doing that I can be consistent with? Consistency is key because we can like try to go hardcore. Okay, I'm going to work out 1 hour, 5 days a week. I'm going to do this, this, and this, and this. And you'll do that for like a week or 2, and then you'll burn out, and then you'll just stop, like oftentimes. And so if we can actually start small, okay, I'm going to do 2 days a week for 20 minutes a time. That's perfect. Start there. Get that super solid and consistent and then build upon it. Let's pretend you said you're going to do Mondays and Thursdays. Okay, well, Monday something came up. Okay, well, now I have to move it to Tuesday. So it's still getting in those 2 days a week and leaning into that process of consistency over time versus a lot and then burning out. So, with that consistency, figure out what you're going to enjoy doing. I will share it. There is a lot of benefits to if you incorporate strength training, getting some cardiovascular training, just flexibility. There's the different benefits from each style of workout, but the most important thing is do something that you can be consistent with, that you're going to enjoy, where you actually have energy afterwards and like want to do it more. Because when you can get consistent with something you enjoy, then you're like, oh, maybe I can do this and challenge myself here. So just kind of build upon it slowly and naturally.
Yeah. And to be honest with you, if it is something that is going to benefit you, you're going to want to do it anyway. And I realize 2 things tends to happen when on the days that I don't feel like going out and doing something. One, either I didn't get a good amount of rest. 2, I ate like crap.
Yeah.
So I have no motivation to do anything on those days. So it is just as important as making sure that you get your rest, because if your body is not well rested, you're not going to feel like doing it the next day. So you have to find a way to get your body well rested. If you eat like crap, your blood sugar is just going like ting, 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 and you just when crash happens, you don't want to do anything but just lay down and do nothing. So when I, that's usually what happens on the days that I'm like, I don't feel like doing this. Because 1, I'm either tired from not getting a good amount of sleep, or 2, I did not eat well whatsoever. So managing those things will help you actually be able to feel better coming back the next day, or if you have another day that you take a rest and then you do it on the 3rd day, it will help you want to come back and actually get into the workout. So for me personally, what I tend to do is I'll go Monday, Tuesday, I walk, nothing super intense. Wednesday, something intense, whether it's running, circuit training, whatever, lifting, whatever it is. And then Thursday, once again, do something with the kids, walking. That's what we usually do with my kids. We walk. And then Friday, do something intense. Saturday, do something intense. On that, then you kind of give yourself some rest in between so that your body can recover and come back and do it again. Those are going to help you continue to stay motivated. If not, just like she said, it's like that January thing. Everybody's like, let's do this. It's like February 1st, you're like, I'm dead. I don't have anything to give. So continue to give yourself, find yourself the motivation that you need to do. Find what works for you, and then really, to be honest, it comes back to what your true current reality is. If you know what that is, and then you set up a plan of how you want to achieve it, then you actually have a plan that you can follow. But if you don't have a plan and you're just kind of going through the motions of things, it's going to be like the yo-yo life that you're living.
Yeah, and I will say too, like maybe like a lot of physical activity isn't something that your body can actually handle right now. There are even different like chair workouts and just a lot of different options out there. So start to explore that. It does not have to look like doing tons of burpees and heavy squats and those type of things, but like starting on the chair or like an exercise bike or anything, just little things of like thinking, okay, what could I do? And knowing that there are options out there, so you can kind of look at just ways, even like checking your posture. Like when you are, like if you're sitting behind a desk all day and you're like this, just checking your posture. I do have one client who is behind a desk all day. And so every hour she is committed to getting up and stretching, walking around a little bit, just kind of reboosting herself and then sitting back down again. And so just thinking of little ways that you can continue just to improve your health, because when you take care of your body physically, it's going to ripple into your mental, emotional well-being. It's going to ripple into even your marriage, because you're going to start to feel better and then you're going to be happier, right?
Yep.
So many things. Another last little tip that I'll leave you with.
You should make a tip video for next time. No, seriously. We will make a video giving you guys tips on, let's say, for example, doing certain workout. Like, let's say, I want to do burpees. Okay, what is the option of something else that I can do instead of doing burpees? I want to go run on the hard surface. What is another option? You can go run in the pool.
Yeah, lots of modifications and like understanding, do what's best for you, and understanding that it's not, if you are doing a modified version, you're still benefiting. Like if instead of a push-up on the floor, start with the wall, like little things like that. One tip that I like to do while I work out is I like to grow my spirit while I'm working out. So I often like to listen to the Bible or just something that's going to just inspire me to keep going. And so while you're improving your mental health, while you're working out, if you also listen to things that are going to give you energy, that's really helpful as well. So
that's pretty cool.
Anything as we close out?
Nope.
All right. Well, we are Purpose Living, training to
do life God's way.
God bless.
Peace.